Have you ever thought about implementing your pen sitting similar to how you would implement a workout? This video may be somewhat controversial with some new ideas about different practice methods, but it may be the video that gets you out of your pen sitting rut. First of all, let's talk about picking our exercise. When we work out, we normally don't just do a bunch of random exercises. We normally choose a handful of specific exercises to do in the time we're at the gym, or during our workout session. Let's ignore all of the rules when it comes to picking the muscle groups for different days of the week, and let's just say we pick a group of exercises we want to improve on. In terms of pen sitting, this would be a good list of tricks or linkages we want to learn or get better at. Now, when we exercise, we normally don't just do the same exercise non-stop for the whole session. We normally have small breaks in between, which we call rest. These break up our big session into smaller sessions we normally call sets. And the rest can vary anywhere from less than a minute to more than 5 minutes, depending on what you're doing. But let's just say it's 2 minutes. Now with pen sitting, we do actually need slight pauses of rest broken up in between our practice, but they don't have to be nearly as long as 2 minutes. This may be because with working out, we need to rest and recover our muscles to handle the load again. But with practicing, we're resting our brains to focus better when we pick up again. Now, I do understand a lot of you might think little breaks in between is detrimental for improvement, and we should aim for 90-minute focused blocks. And although that is definitely correct, your definition of constant focus with the intensity of exercise sets may be different from what I'm thinking. If you're practicing and you drop the pen, you probably take a short break, just picking up the pen, thinking about something else, or focusing your attention somewhere else for a moment, even if it's just for a couple seconds. This is technically a break. In working out, it's common knowledge that we should aim for failure in our sets, and only after we've reached failure, we should take a break. There is some scientific evidence backing this up depending on your goal, but let's just say this should be the case with pen sitting. This means you should be laser focused, not darting a single moment of attention anywhere else for the entire time until your brain quite literally starts to feel burned out. Now, many people are different in how long they can last. Some people may only last a couple seconds, while others may be able to last 5 minutes straight without darting an eye. But it's actually a lot harder than it seems to keep constant focus for 5 minutes straight without even looking away or thinking about anything else for a second. This is why we eventually need to implement small breaks in between our practice sets. The breaks could be as small as 5-second breathers to as long as a few minute break. Just don't mess up your dopamine during this time. If you're unsure of what this means, check out one of my practice videos. Now that we have a specific trick, linkage, or combo we want to practice, and we are taking adequate breaks in between each set, let's talk about multiple exercises. When you go to the gym to work out, normally we wouldn't do just one exercise, unless you want to maximize testosterone and are just doing 6x10 or something like that, but you'd normally do a range of different exercises. You can do this with pen sitting, however, I believe it's better to take a longer break in between the different things you're practicing if you do this. In working out, a superset is when you do multiple exercises in the same set, reducing overall rest time and increasing movement. But since the set rest times are so short with pen sitting, and the difference in tricks or linkages practice requires more rest in between, supersets don't really work with pen sitting. Ideally, you would do 5 to 20 minutes of your first trick, link, or combo. Then you would rest a longer amount. In my experience, 1 to 10 minutes is fine depending on what you're doing. Then you would go into your next set of the different trick, link, or combo. Now let's talk about strength versus hypertrophy versus endurance. And I believe this correlates with pen sitting a lot more than one might think. First of all, in exercising, strength has the goal of getting your muscles stronger, not necessarily bigger, and this is done by reduced reps and increased weight. Next is hypertrophy, which has the goal of increasing size, which is done with an increased rep range and decreased weight compared to strength training. Finally is endurance, which is an even more increased rep range with the lightest weight. How do you think this plays out in pen sitting? Let's see. Strength can be correlated with learning new tricks. Hypertrophy can be correlated with learning linkages, and endurance can be correlated with continuous spinning. It makes sense in the short-term results. If you're practicing a new trick, you're gonna only land it a small percentage of the time you try it. This can represent the weight being increased, also known as the percentage of failure. With linkages, you should already know the tricks in the linkage, and your main goal is normally just to link them together, which normally has a decreased failure rate, which could be seen as taking some weight off. Finally, we have continuous spinning, reaching for the highest numbers you can. To do this, you would already need to be comfortable with the trick or linkage you're spinning continuously, because your goal is to do as many times as you can. This shows the highest percentage of successes over failure in terms of raw landing ability. Again, this is not gospel, and you're more than free to disagree with me. This is just another way to look at practicing pen sitting. By the way, if you want to see your spinning in my videos, check out the website in the description below. Here you'll also gain access to a private Discord hub, and a special role in the Spindy's Discord server. You can play tack-ons with me, or just ask me any questions related to pen sitting. I'm not very active in many other Discord servers, but I'll be sure to respond to any questions if you send them in this channel as soon as I can. You'll also gain early access to any future projects I work on, such as full access to the Spindy app. Thanks for watching. See you next time.